No.
No.
Oh, there it is. It's on mute. All right, cool. Never use a microphone before, to be honest. There's nothing written on here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Matt's younger brother, which is really surprising to some people since I'm a lot bigger and hairier than he is. I assure you I am related to him. And you know, Matt, I feel like Matt normally has good judgment, but until he asked me to do his best man speech. But I think the one thing he did is he coordinated with the bartenders, because I think my drinks have been watered down. I don't know if anyone else did that. But before I start, I want to thank my mom and dad, and especially Mary Kahn, for putting this whole thing together. It's been great, guys. I know there are a lot of people that came here from very far away, and I also want to thank you for all coming here. We all appreciate it. You can applaud yourself. Also, I know for those of you who were here yesterday for the rehearsal dinner speech, there's some issues with grammar, like furthest or farthest was the right thing to say. So I just want to put it out there now that if there are any grammatical issues with my speech, I want you to file any complaints with my speechwriter, Dr. Garrett. So you can find him after. I remember the day I first met Matt. It was August 3rd, 1988. And I've been pretty stressed out, since I worked really hard the whole day being born and everything. Between all the crying and the spanking, I think there were some things that already stuck out to me about my brother. One thing I think a lot of us know about Matt is that he's incredibly smart. Let's be honest, I think it would take most of us a day to read the titles of half the books in his room, let alone understand them. And growing up with Matt, I would always have the teachers, after he'd already been through them, which was really fun. And every time on the first day of class, we'd be reading through the rosters, and they'd look up and they'd be like, "Oh, you're Matt Bobby's brother." Like this big grin on their face, and then I just have to say, I'd pause them and say, "Don't get too excited, all right? You're going to have to lower your expectations a little bit. It's going to work out." But growing up with Matt, another thing you learn about him is how passionate he is. I think by the time I turned 4, he'd already watched all the series of Star Trek. Even that weird animated one that came out for 3 episodes in 1973. When Matt decides that he cares about something, he will stop at nothing to develop an encyclopedic knowledge about it. As some of you know, he and his wife were going to Croatia on their honeymoon. When I visited him in Seattle earlier this summer, he was reading no less than 5 books about the history of Croatia. Understandably, I always wondered what type of woman would be great enough to equal my brother's talents and personality. And then Matt met Allison, which in a way was kind of like Matt meeting himself. I always wondered if Matt would meet someone who would rival his passion for physics. And then there was a time on the way to a Steelers game that Matt and Allison were arguing about some interpretation of string theory. I always wondered if Matt would meet someone with this unique sense of humor. And then there was a time at my brother's apartment in Boston that Matt made some joke about math or something. While my eyes were rolling in the back of my head, I caught Allison looking at Matt, and I realized they were perfect for one another. I always wondered when Matt would meet the person he would grow old with. And then Matt met Allison. And Allison, while you certainly have your work cut out for you, you are clearly the love of my brother's life, and the greatest woman he could have met. I think when a lot of people talk about love, they always talk about sparks, or Cupid, or some unnameable something that exists between soulmates. But I don't really think any of that is true. I think finding true love is as simple and profound as finding your best friend. It's finding that person who will laugh with you, share tears with you, and always call you out when nobody else will. Matt and Allison are one of the lucky few to find that person. And so with that, I propose a toast to a lifetime. So with that, I propose a toast. Thank you. I propose a toast to a lifetime of happiness, love, and laughter to Matt and Allison.
You're here.